Time for another happy hour, and I'm glad you could join me today. This is going to be a little bit different happy hour today because I'm going to focus on the music of the Great American Songbook. Composers like George Gershwin, Harold Arlen, Jerome, Kern. There's a whole bunch of people that wrote music at the early part of the 1900s, first half of the 1900s. And that era of songwriting is called the Great American Songbook. So I thought I'd share a few of those tunes with you today. We'll get started here with a real famous one. This is Chattanooga Choo Choo. Pardon me, boy, is that the Chattanooga Choo Choo? Track 29. Boy, you can give me a shine. I can afford to board a Chattanooga Choo Choo. I've got my fare and just a trifle to spare. You leave the Pennsylvania station about 3:45. Read a magazine and then you're in Baltimore. Dinner in the diner, nothing could be finer than to have her ham and eggs in Carolina. When you hear the whistle blowing 8 to the bar, then you know that Tennessee is not very far. Shovel all the coal in, gotta keep it rolling. Whoa, whoa, Chattanooga, there you are. There's gonna be a certain party at the station, satin and lace, I used to call funny face. She's gonna cry until I tell her that I'll never roam. So Chattanooga Choo Choo, won't you choo choo me home? She's gonna cry until I tell her that I'll never roam. So Chattanooga Choo Choo, won't you choo choo me home? Thank you. Chattanooga Choo Choo. That was, still is a very famous tune from 1941, right? World War II days. And that was written by Mack Gordon and Henry Warren. The first ones to record that was the Glenn Miller Band. Yeah, so it was right in the big band era, the swing era. Lots of people, all these tunes that I'm going to play today have all been recorded by all the greats. The Andrews sisters in those days kind of teamed up with the Glenn Miller Band and to entertain the soldiers during that time. So, yeah, a real fun one there. Let's go on here. This next one, really, really famous tune. They all are, but this one really, really famous. From 1924, it was written by Isham Jones and Gus Kahn. It's been, a lot of these tunes made their way to the silver screen and to musicals and such. And so this one was in Casablanca. There was a film, Casablanca was 1942. There was a film from 44 that was made with the same name as this tune. The tune is It Had to Be You. It Had to Be You. So in 44 they made a film based on the popularity of the tune. Then later on in the 70s it was in Annie Hall, the Woody Allen picture. And then, of course, in 89, When Harry Met Sally, this tune makes its way back there as Billy Crystal, right, and Meg Ryan. So sing along if you know it. It Had to Be You. It had to be you. try to be boss, but they wouldn't do, no, no. For nobody else gives me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still. It had to be you, wonderful you, had to be you. It had to be you.
Got some family and friends joining us, honey.
We do.
We do. We have the Plant family.
Hi, Plant family.
And Ale Plant also. We have Dan and Beth Meyer and Marie.
Hi, folks. Thanks for joining. It's great to have you here. We got the Great American Songbook going today for a little change here. And I'm just going to sort of play you through the years here. By the way, the Great American Songbook, don't go out and try to find a book called the Great American Songbook. It's, well, I guess there might be a book like that, but the Great American Songbook is just a loose collection of tunes from the first part of the 1900s that is considered to represent the best of the songwriting of in America. And it kind of represented a golden era of songwriting. And so that's what we're exploring today. Next up here is a tune that also was in Casablanca. Casablanca had a lot of great tunes in it. This one written by Ray Noble in 1934. Nat King Cole, I love his, well, I pretty much love everything Nat King Cole does. And especially this one. It's called The Very Thought of You. Beautiful tune here. And the poetry is really awesome. Yeah, the lyrics here, just really great words. I'm happy as a king, and foolish though it may seem to me, that's everything. The mere idea of you, the longing here for you, you'll never know how slow the moments go till I'm near to you. I see your face in every flower, your eyes in stars above. It's just the thought of you, the very thought of you, my love. Never know how slow the moments go till I'm near to you. I see your face in every flower, your eyes in stars above. It's just the thought of you, very thought of you. Love that tune. That is a really good one. And wow, could they write lyric, right? Your eye, I see your eyes in every flower. Really? Yeah.
Your face.
Oh, I'm sorry, your face. I see your face in every flower. Your eyes and stars above. What poetry. Wow, that's great. All right, let's go sample some Frank Sinatra now. This one written by Mack Gordon in 1946 for a musical called Three Little Girls in Blue. So what happens here is a lot of times the tune gets famous, but the production that it was in maybe not as famous. And I think this is a good case of it. This tune, You Make Me Feel So Young. So Frank Sinatra gets his chops on it in the 50s, all right, and makes a big hit out of it. And what else about this tune? Written by Mack Gordon, 46, I think I covered. Oh, it's an Elf, too, from 2003. You know, the instant Christmas classic, Elf. It makes an appearance in there. So let's have a listen to this. You make me feel so young. You make me feel that spring has sprung. And every time I see you grin, I'm such a happy individual. The moment that you speak, I want to go play hide and seek. I want to go and bounce the moon just like a toy balloon. You and I are just like a couple of tots running across a meadow, picking up lots of forget-me-nots. You make me feel so young. You make me feel there are songs to be sung, bells to be rung, and a wonderful fling to be flung. And even when I'm old and gray, I'm gonna feel the way I do today, 'cause you make me feel so young. You and I are just like a couple of tots running across a meadow, picking up lots of forget-me-nots. You make me feel so young. You make me feel there are songs to be sung, bells to be rung, and a wonderful fling to be flung. And even when I'm old and gray, I'm gonna feel the way I do today, 'cause you make me feel so young. 'Cause you make me feel so young. 'Cause you make me feel so young. Yeah, there we are. A little bit of Frank Sinatra. Yeah. Well, we woke up today and it was snowing. What a drag, man. Middle of May, almost the middle of May, and we've got snow. Who else is on the line here?
We have the residents at Masonic Pathways watching today.
All right, I'm so glad you could join. The good folks at Masonic Pathways are here, and I know you're loving this music because this is right up your alley. Music from the Great American Songbook. I hope you're singing along to every word today. Yes. So that was some Frank Sinatra for you. Oh yes, and so now on to some George Gershwin. All right, so I had the task of choosing which George Gershwin tune to sing, and so I chose one that has a pretty interesting story behind it. This is actually the last tune that George Gershwin ever wrote. Now, before I get to that part, I hope you know that all the Great American Songbook tunes by George Gershwin were really written by George Gershwin and his brother Ira. So Ira wrote all the lyrics, and George wrote all the music. And so they made a great team, making all these great tunes that we know. I Got Rhythm, Embraceable You, and also this one here. This is called Love Is Here to Stay. Now, I mentioned this was the last tune George wrote. And so, and his brother Ira outlived him by many, many, many decades. So, and by this time, George is world famous, right? We're in the mid-30s now. And what do you do? What do you do with the lyrics to your famous brother's last tune? What kind of words do you write? And so I think Ira did a wonderful job. He rose to the occasion and wrote these words as a tribute to George and the brotherly love between himself and his brother. And so it makes a great love song in the traditional sense, but the real original meaning behind these words is a brotherly love. So keep that in mind as you listen and as you sing. Love is here to stay. It's very clear our love is here to stay, not for a year, but ever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know may just be passing fancies and in time may go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, they're only made of clay. But our love is here to stay. Love is here to stay. That was in the 1938 Goldwyn Follies. There was the Ziegfeld Follies as well. That was earlier. These Follies it was like an ongoing variety show. And so you'd have periodic shows that were put under the same term of either the Goldwyn Follies and such. This one from 1938 also made it into An American in Paris in 1951. And what do you know? When Harry Met Sally, again, they really reached back and picked out a couple great tunes to put in that film. Are there more people with us today?
Yes, we have your sister Julie joining us.
Hi, Julie.
And the Selecki family.
Hi, Selecki family.
Yes.
Great to have you with me. Today, if you're just joining, today is the Great American Songbook, famous tunes from the first part of the 1900s. We just heard Our Love Is Here to Stay by George Gershwin. Now, this next one has been called the greatest tune ever written, all right? And so it's got to be pretty good if it's called the greatest tune ever written. It is, here's a little hint. Judy Garland's recording is in the National Recording Registry. Well, that's a big deal. That's the Library of Congress, and it's got to be some iconic recording that represents America. And Judy Garland from The Wizard of Oz singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, right? And so I know you can sing along to this one. Let's see, the Recording Institute of America, this tune is number 1 on their Songs of the Century list. I think it's well-deserving. Interesting here, Harold Arlen wrote this in 1939. And I got the pleasure of meeting his son, Sam Arlen, a couple years ago. I was giving a concert in Naples, and he happened to be there at my concert, which was kind of neat. And they came up afterwards, and we got to chat a little bit. And so I got to meet the very famous Harold Arlen's son, who is in charge of the company that owns the rights to Over the Rainbow. Yeah, so it was kind of neat to meet him. So without further ado, let's sing it together. Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Chimney tops, that's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why, oh, why can't I? One more time here. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I? There it is. Over the Rainbow. The greatest song of the century. Well, I have a couple more to share with you on this list as we go through the Great American Songbook, and then I'm going to wrap it up with a rag. I gotta play one of those, right? I can't. It can't be a Peter Bergin concert without a rag.
All right, so now we're going to go, we're going to stick to the silver screen, but we're going to go back a little bit into the 1930s. There was a tune back then called Swing Time. Swing Time. And it was a Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers film. It won Academy Awards. Now, I think this is another case where perhaps the production is not quite as famous as the tune, because whenever I'm at giving concerts, I always ask how many people have heard of the film Swing Time, and these are people of a generation who would know, and I only usually get like maybe 3 or 4 hands go up. So the film Swing Time, although it's a wonderful film, it has all the wonderful dancing that you'd expect from Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. The tune that came from there that was really famous, The Way You Look Tonight. The Way You Look Tonight. Written in 1936 by Jerome Kern. There's a very clever, charming scene in the film that introduces this song that I want to describe for you. The whole premise of the film is that Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, they play dancers. That's what their characters are in the film. And she is a teacher at a dance studio, and he shows up one day pretending not knowing how to dance, and he wants lessons. All right, how charming, right? And so they get to discover their true nature through the film, and he decides he's going to help her win a dance contest. And so they're going to get ready and get snazzed up so they can go to the audition. And so she's in the powder room getting ready, and he's outside in the next room waiting for her to get ready. And he realizes this is going to take some time. So he goes over to the piano and plays this tune. Now, of course, she hears the tune in the bathroom, or the powder room, right? And it captures her heart because they're starting to have some feelings for each other. And so she comes out of the powder room forgetting the shampoo is in her hair. And she goes over and lays a hand on his shoulder as he's singing the line in this tune and looking up and says, "I love the way you look tonight." So very charming. Check it out if you can. It's a film called Swing Time. If you know the tune, sing right along, because we're going to sing it right now.
foolish heart, lovely, never, never change. Keep that breathless charm. Won't you please arrange it? 'Cause I love you just the way you look tonight. Love you just the way you look tonight. Yeah, great tune there. I love that one. Well, I hope you're doing well today. I hope it's not snowing for you like it is here, but we're going to get through it, right? The snow is no match for the sun today. So that's the bright part, is that we get to watch it melt. And we didn't get that much, but it's still May. It's like, who wants snow? Maybe if you live in the UP, you like it more. I don't know. Let's go to the next tune here. This is back to Frank Sinatra here. This tune, written in 1953. Now, what happened is the tune came out, and it was a big hit. Big hit. And they were producing a film that Frank Sinatra was starring in. This is early 50s. And the tune was such a hit that they decided to use that as kind of like the theme song and actually name the film after the tune to take advantage of the popularity of the tune. And the tune's name, Young at Heart. Young at Heart, from 1953, written by Johnny Richards. Other than Young at Heart, the other films it was in, City Slickers, 1991. That was a Billy Crystal film, I believe. And Space Cowboys from 2000. It made an appearance there. So, but the lyrics here are wonderful. The basic gist is, no matter how advanced we are in this life of ours, we can always be young here, young inside. And I think that's a great message for us in today's time. So sing right along if you know it. Otherwise, just sit back and enjoy. Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart. It's hard, you will find, to be narrow of mind if you're young at heart. You can go to extremes with impossible schemes. You can laugh when your dreams fall apart at the seams, and life gets more exciting with each passing day. And love is either in your heart or on the way. Don't you know that it's worth every treasure on earth to be young at heart? That's right. For as rich as you are, it's much better by far to be young at heart. And if you should survive to 105, look at all you'll derive out of being alive. And here is the best part. You have a head start if you are among the very young at heart. And if you should survive to 105, look at all you derive out of being alive. And here is the best part. You have a head start if you are among the very young at heart. Yeah.
boy, they just don't write them like they used to. That's for sure. Oh, that doesn't mean the music's bad nowadays. They just don't write them like they used to. Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little trip down memory lane there and all the great tunes. Hopefully that brought back some good memories and hopefully of people, loved ones in your life and events and such. I'm going to wrap it up here with the rag, a very peppy rag from 1914 by Euday Bowman. And yeah, he wrote this rag as it was a promise to a buddy of his that owned a pawn shop in Kansas City. And he told his buddy, you know, if you ever make any money at that store of yours, I'll write you a rag in your honor. And so that's what he did because, well, he must have made some money because the pawn shop was on 12th Street in Kansas City. And so must have made some money because we have the 12th Street rag. Here it is. Everybody, thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day.